here we go. So this workout is hot and delicious. So starting off power and iron up, this can be 10 minutes of practice with some kind of functional hinge-like movement, right? So you got tire flips, you can do Atlas stones, you can do a K. Basically about 10 minutes, move your body around, practice some different techniques on something that's very hinge, right? So at the hip, hinge style, very functional lifting stuff, right? If you don't have any of these different things, you could always practice some cleans, even though we already did some, maybe a little bit of deads or something, but I wouldn't get super heavy or super crazy. It's just meant to be a little bit of skill development. Then part two is going to be seated box jumps, working up kind of progressively more and more athletic as you go. So for your first set of 3, you got a good solid height, then you maybe add you a plate, and add you a plate again for your final 3 sets. The goal is not to get as high as possible, it's to stay as athletic in your jumping as possible. And every set, you should be getting a little more athletic with that. Then part 3 is going to be 10 front squats at 40 to 50% of your front squat weight, and then you're going to do a prowler sprint out. So we got 160 foot listed. You could do 150, you could do 200. Something that, why is this? This is our pretty much set turnaround for most of our locations. So for you, if you're at home knocking it out, you push it out a decent amount, then you bring it back a decent amount. Shouldn't be super long, shouldn't be super short, right? Should be short. So with your prowler sprint, what's a healthy amount of weight? One in which that you're not slowly drudging along, but you're moving as quick as possible, but it's not super, super light, right? And if it is super light, go faster, rest less. Then you got a minute to a minute and a half rest, then you got 8 front squats, same thing, prowler sprint, 6 sprint, rest, 4 sprint, rest, 2 sprint to finish. And one thing with that, with your rest period, if you go a little bit lighter on your prowler, then you can always decrease your rest and make it a little bit more of this kind of high breathing, high glycogen burning kind of workout. Part 4 is going to be 3 rounds of 20-20 hip adductors, so bringing it to center line, and then 100-foot banded side steps. And even though you guys did all these with glutes today, we're bringing the ad in, so we're going to go ahead and balance with some outside too. Not as much focus as we did in glute gains, but it is going to be the balance of the adductor coming in. Lag and muscle if you want it. Fitness and sport. Same thing we talked about for this 10-minute practice. Then part 2 is going to be 10 front squats, 40 to 45% of your 1 rep max, and then 10 over the bar burpees. So it's kind of like phosphagen, glycogen, sprint, rest, right? 1 minute rest between rounds, boom, boom, rest, boom, boom, rest, 4 times through. Part 3 is going to be 4 by 15 back extensions. If you don't have a glute ham raise, then you can always sub it out for Superman. It's too easy. All right, here we go, TDY. TDY is going to be the exact same seated box jumps we talked about, same setup, same thought process. And then for your part 2, you got 10 dumbbell front squats, and you could do either a 50-foot body weight lunge, or if you had a prowler, you still could do the prowler sprint, right? So basically this works out to be 5 rounds, but we wrote it the same way that we wrote power and iron up for probably similar aesthetics, right? So it looks good, we like how it feels, too easy. So you can either do 10 dumbbell front squats, prowler push, come back, 10 prowler push, come back, or you could do 10 50-foot body weight lunge. With that, for your lunge, instead of stepping as far out as you can, challenge the hamstring a little bit more. Let's keep our steps a little more narrow, let the knee float a little bit further out, therefore putting a little more pressure across the top of your quad, working your quads real special the same way that prowler is going to, right? Rest 1 minute to a minute and a half. Again, you could always decrease this if you don't go super heavy. Part 3 is going to be 3 rounds of 10 and 10 adductor planks on a box. Easiest to do is go over to the MHT Daily IG right after this to see what it looks like, and it's the same thing. We're working that adductor on the inside of your leg by pulling it up towards the top one, pressing together, 10 and 10 sideline leg raises, the exact opposite of what you just did. And then TBY is instead of 9 sets of triples, you got 3 sets of 9. So less total sets, same amount of volume, just more volume crammed together. Part 2 is going to be 5 rounds, 10 elevated quad squats with 50-foot lunges. And if 10's not enough, you could always increase it and wrap it out. 2 seconds down, as fast up as possible, 1 second squeeze in the top. Part 3 is going to be 3 rounds of what we just talked about down here. Lag and muscle if you want it, mobility majors, marching orders, make sure you get it in. Stay mobile, stay dangerous. Because the more mobile you are, the more you're able to do every different exercise without pain, and the more you can do that through time, the better consistency you're going to have. Booyah, never quit.